No Drama Discipline is a parenting book built around one central idea. Discipline is not about punishment, control, or fear, but about teaching. The authors want parents to rethink what discipline really means and how it can be used to help children grow emotionally, socially, and neurologically. They argue that many discipline struggles come from misunderstandings about how children's brains work, especially when children are upset, overwhelmed, or acting out. Instead of reacting with anger, threats, or harsh consequences, the book encourages parents to respond in ways that build connection first and then guide behavior. The goal is not to eliminate all conflict or misbehavior, but to handle those moments without unnecessary drama while still setting clear limits and expectations. The authors begin by explaining that children are not miniature adults. Their brains are still developing, and this matters enormously when it comes to behavior. A child's brain develops from the bottom up. The lower parts of the brain, which control basic survival responses like fight, flight, or freeze, develop earlier and are more active during moments of stress. The higher parts of the brain, especially the prefrontal cortex, which handles reasoning, impulse control, empathy, and decision-making, are still under construction well into early adulthood. When a child is overwhelmed or emotionally flooded, the lower brain takes over and the higher brain goes offline. In those moments, logic, lectures, and punishments do not work because the child literally cannot access the part of the brain needed to learn from them. This is why traditional discipline methods often fail. When a child is yelled at, shamed, or punished harshly, their brain goes into defense mode. They may comply in the short term out of fear, but they are not learning skills like self-control, problem-solving, or empathy. Instead, they are learning that big emotions are dangerous, that mistakes lead to rejection, or that power decides who wins. The authors stress that discipline should aim to teach skills, not enforce obedience at all costs. Real discipline helps children learn how to handle frustration, repair mistakes, and make better choices over time. A major theme of the book is the idea of connection before correction. The authors explain that when a child is upset or misbehaving, the most effective first response is to connect emotionally. This does not mean approving of bad behavior or giving in to demands. It means helping the child feel seen, heard, and understood so their nervous system can calm down. Connection helps bring the higher brain back online. Once the child feels safe and understood, they are far more capable of listening, reflecting, and learning. Connection can look like getting down to the child's level, speaking calmly, acknowledging their feelings, and showing empathy. For example, instead of saying, "Stop crying, it's not a big deal," a parent might say, "You're really upset because you wanted to keep playing." This simple act of naming the feeling helps regulate the child's emotions and strengthens the parent-child relationship. The authors emphasize that empathy does not weaken authority. In fact, it strengthens it because children are more likely to cooperate with adults they feel connected to. The book introduces the idea of no drama discipline, which does not mean no boundaries or no consequences. It means reducing unnecessary emotional escalation, threats, power struggles, and shame. Drama often comes from the parent's own emotional reaction. When parents feel disrespected, embarrassed, or out of control, they may respond in ways that escalate the situation. The authors encourage parents to pause, breathe, and regulate their own emotions before responding. A calm adult brain can help a dysregulated child brain calm down. Another key concept is that discipline should focus on the long-term development of the child, not just stopping the behavior in the moment. The authors ask parents to think about what skills they want their children to have at age 25, such as responsibility, empathy, resilience, and self-control. Then they encourage parents to use discipline moments as opportunities to build those skills. This perspective helps parents move away from quick fixes like yelling or grounding and toward teaching and guiding. Another key concept in the book is that consequences must always be immediate or harsh to be effective. The authors explain that consequences work best when they are related to the behavior, respectful, and reasonable. They should help the child understand the impact of their actions and give them a chance to make things right. For example, if a child breaks something out of anger, a helpful consequence might involve repairing or replacing the item, along with talking about better ways to handle anger next time. Consequences should not be about revenge or making the child suffer, but about learning and responsibility. A major distinction in the book is between punishment and discipline. Punishment focuses on control and compliance, often using fear or pain. Discipline focuses on teaching and guiding, using connection and understanding. Punishment asks, how can I make this behavior stop? Discipline asks, what is my child trying to communicate and what do they need to learn? The authors argue that punishment may stop behavior temporarily, but discipline builds internal skills that last. The book spends significant time discussing why children misbehave. The authors explain that misbehavior is often a sign of unmet needs, immature skills, or overwhelming emotions. Children may act out because they're tired, hungry, overstimulated, anxious, or lacking certain coping skills. Seeing behavior as communication helps parents respond with curiosity instead of anger. Instead of asking, how do I punish this, parents can ask, what's going on inside my child right now? The authors also emphasize that mistakes are essential for learning. When parents respond to mistakes with shame or harsh punishment, children learn to hide errors or lie. When parents respond with understanding and guidance, children learn accountability and repair. The book encourages parents to treat discipline moments as learning labs where children can practice making better choices with adult support. Timeouts are discussed in a nuanced way. The authors do not completely reject timeouts, but they criticize how they are often used. Traditional timeouts can feel isolating and rejecting, especially when used in anger. The authors suggest rethinking timeouts as time-ins, where the focus is on helping the child calm down and reflect rather than being sent away. This might involve sitting with the child, helping them breathe, or talking through what happened once they're calm. The goal is regulation, not isolation. Another important idea in the book is consistency paired with flexibility. Children need clear boundaries and predictable responses to feel safe. At the same time, rigid rules without empathy can be harmful. The authors encourage parents to be consistent in their values and expectations while being flexible in how they respond, depending on the child's age, temperament, and current emotional state. This balance helps children feel both secure and understood. The book also addresses common fears parents have about gentle discipline, such as the fear that children will become spoiled, entitled, or disrespectful. The authors argue that empathy and connection do not create weak children. Instead, they help children develop emotional intelligence, resilience, and respect for others. Children who feel understood are more likely to respect limits, not less. The authors back this up with neuroscience and developmental research showing that secure relationships support healthy brain development. Throughout the book, the authors stress the importance of modeling. Children learn far more from what parents do than what they say. If parents handle frustration with yelling or aggression, children learn to do the same. If parents apologize when they make mistakes, children learn humility and repair. Discipline is not just about correcting the child, but about holding themselves to the same standards they expect from their children. The book also explores the idea of integrating different parts of the brain. The authors believe that healthy development involves helping children integrate emotion and logic, impulse and reflection, self and others. Discipline moments are opportunities to help children connect their feelings with their actions and understand cause and effect. Over time, these experiences strengthen neural connections that support better self-regulation. Another theme is the importance of storytelling and reflection after a conflict has passed. Once a child is calm, parents can help them reflect on what happened, what they felt, and what they could do differently next time. This kind of reflection builds insight and prepares the child for future challenges. The authors caution against trying to teach lessons in the heat of the moment when the child's brain is not ready. The book also acknowledges that parenting is hard and that parents will not always respond perfectly. The authors emphasize self-compassion and repair. When parents lose their temper or make mistakes, they can repair the relationship by apologizing and reconnecting. This not only heals the relationship, but also teaches children that mistakes can be repaired and relationships can recover. A recurring message in the book is that discipline is about building a relationship, not winning a battle. Power struggles often arise when parents focus on control rather than connection. By shifting the goal from obedience to growth, parents can reduce conflict and create a more cooperative family dynamic. This does not mean children always get what they want, but it does mean they feel respected even when limits are set. The authors also discuss how discipline strategies should evolve as children grow. What works for a toddler will not work for a teenager. However, the core principles of connection, empathy, and teaching remain the same. As children mature, parents can involve them more in problem-solving and decision-making, helping them develop independence and responsibility. Another important point is that discipline should align with a family's values. Instead of reacting impulsively, parents